It's been a bit since I've covered the saga of Pirate Software, a man who is like a human Rubik's Cube when it comes to secrets. And it seems like this guy just keeps getting unraveled time and time again as more time passes on. And you know the disaster that is Pirate Software is still ongoing when people like me Canyon releases a full cartoon recently just about him, which was glorious to see by the way. Anyway, today there's quite a bit to cover, from Pirate losing a lot of views and subscribers at an alarmingly bad pace, the exposure by people who worked with him in the past, and Pirate even attempting to silence or threaten legal action against those who have made content on him. Firstly, from SVG.com, Pirate has lost somewhere near to 90% of his overall viewership since the whole controversy surrounding Stop Killing Games has happened, as well as many other controversies as well. It's kind of incredible what a year can do, since Pirate went from having 13,000 subs on Twitch to well over 2 million in just 6 months back in 2024. Contrasting that to now, the guy is getting decimated because of his take. They do bring up his Social Blade account and how prior to all of this happening, Pirate was allegedly pulling somewhere near $200,000 a month on YouTube, and now it's down to 47K. However, I do want to preface this by saying that Social Blade is not very correct when it comes to money, at least from my own experience. Because whenever Social Blade says what I have made via my own stats, it's never even remotely accurate at all. A lot of it is just wrong. They constantly lowball my account, but anyway, so I wager the same is probably happening to Pirate, so don't take those numbers to heart. Although it cannot be denied that, yeah, he has lost almost at least 200,000 or somewhere near that subscribers since this all happened, which is disastrous no matter what your size is. Subscribers and views at least, I can confirm Social Blade is usually on point because that's more public. But again, their guess is on how much you make monthly. It's not very close, but regardless, everything's not looking good for Pirate. And if you enjoy the content, consider liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to help the channel out because his censorship stuff is getting scary out here. But despite all of this, with Pirate losing his audience, he has instead decided to double down in the face of utter oblivion, calling for content creators to stop making content on him because he feels people are just hate farming him now. One person he's specifically targeting is Quintheo, a YouTuber who has effectively been covering Pirate now for almost a month and a half at this point. Quintheo has been exposing Pirate a lot, which understandably means that exposing has led to Pirate losing a lot of revenue because of him. But now, Pirate is trying to silence Quintheo and by association, anyone else who covers him. Pirate would personally announce via his own Discord that he was going after people like Quintheo and more for exposing him. Here's exactly what he said. Context: a content creator called Quintheo is continuously farming ad revenue by making false claims and drama content about me. Recently, he claimed that Kronos broke terms of service by giving bits and subs to the Giga Train in April 2025. Kronos used his own money to do this and can do what he likes with that money. Below is some information with receipts about all of that to refute the false claims about the situation. This creator has changed his entire brand into Pirate Software hate content for profit. It's kind of rich that Pirate specifically calls out the stream, considering it's been well documented, as I have made a video about this also prior, on how Pirate and his top moderator Kronos got exposed by Pirate himself of all people for being an idiot by leaving his tabs open on a stream to show that he was buying bits on Twitch to swarm Pirate streams on purpose to start hype trains, which is then kept alive by other viewers giving bits or money themselves to Pirate to unlock special emotes and such by keeping it going. The gist of that controversy was that Pirate was using his own money and causing his moderators to artificially boost his streams into creating scenarios where people would feel obligated to just give him money to keep it moving and growing. It is smart on his end, but it is also 100% scummy. And it's also funny how Pirate still tries to act like he didn't do anything wrong when he so clearly did. But anyway, due to Pirate claiming he was going to crush Quintheo for his videos, Quintheo then had to answer via his own Discord to the accusations. I won't read you Quintheo's whole response because it is lengthy, but the too long didn't read version is that Quintheo had to cease the Pirate Software information part of his own Discord for at least a few days, only so that he could verify what was being done in there that was legit and couldn't also be considered doxing, which Pirate was accusing Quintheo of doing obviously. Since then, the Discord is back up and running as normal, but Pirate's threats at least paused Quintheo's relentless assault on his public image for at least a few days. Like I said, Pirate claims that Quintheo's fans are doxing him and people close to him. I'll just read you exactly what Pirate said about this, which reads, Now for the 1-2 punch against this BS, Quintheo's Discord has people actively doxing me in it. His moderation team is aware of this and has been encouraging it as shown in the images. They have also been digging into Shay and her job as a secondary attack vector in image 1 shelf related who is a mod asked for doxing info directly. We've forwarded all of this to Discord Trust and Safety as a result. We've also banned all the users that were taking part of this from our Discord. Screenshots below with the images blocked out. A little context, by the way, that Shay person that he describes there as being doxed and harassed, that's apparently someone who works with Pirate Software with his whole like ferret rescue team thing, for clarification so we all know. Anyway, in Quintheo's Discord, his users would be used as ammunition to further strengthen the story that Pirate's being doxed alongside his employees. But that may not fully be the case, as in that group chat section of Quintheo's supposed pirate doxing Discord group, as one user says at the very top here, the source is a bit too much of a dox for me to feel comfortable linking, but it would be information from Shay. Another user would reply, do you mean information Shay has given you or that's been found by someone else? What's the significance of the 4-year gap? The same user would reply back, information given to a third party by Shay and released as a sort of mini bio. So what Quintheo is trying to push here is that while doxing info may have been discussed in his Discord, no actual information was given out. Mostly because the users in his Discord have a genuine moral compass, at least somewhat, that obviously tells them maybe it's not a good idea to dox people who are innocent and have nothing to do with the situation, like this Shay person who works with this ferret rescue, which, yeah, I agree. There really is no reason to bring this other person involved when they have zero reason to be doxed or harassed in the first place. So that's good on Quintheo's Discord people, at least not being scummy like that. Otherwise, that could be grounds for termination for that entire community Discord. Although, according to Pirate, he isn't taking this lightly, as he said here to everyone in his Discord after this, no, Quintheo, my address is not public information and your users are distributing it on your Discord while the mods encourage it. They didn't just go after me and Shay either, they went after our moderation team too, as shown here. You cannot BS it this way, leave me and my team the F alone. Then as seen here in one of the images Pirate used as a gotcha, the personal information has been blocked out for obvious reasons here by Quintheo himself actually. So I'm just sharing you what Quintheo has shared from his own Discord just to make that clear to everyone involved. But anyways, the information found allegedly was publicly available info on this Shay person and this whole ferret rescue thing, which Pirate then claims is doxing. As the comments further read, the users start debating if this is ethical or not, and they then bring up someone named Jayop. So this Jayop, according to Quintheo, was a user in their Discord who was trying to be more malicious about these things. And therefore, from what I understand, this Jayop user was removed from their community because of this. So all ties this user had to Quintheo has been severed and removed from the community because obviously he or she, whoever it was, I don't know, would jeopardize them probably. But anyway, Quintheo would also share another exchange between a user named Shelf, which Pirate referred to earlier, which is Quintheo's main moderator, by the way, for his Discord, and another user named Amplifox. Shelf, the mod, would say this. Yeah, better keep this on the down low just in case some of this information is relevant. I know Shay is involved with Pirate Software, but unless I'm missing some information, I don't think her personal life should be digged into since she's not particularly involved with this subset of drama. And then Amplifox, who's important in here, basically posts allegedly info about this Shay person tied to Pirate Software, which is blocked again by Quintheo because obviously it's a big no-no to show that sort of thing and you shouldn't do that. Now, I don't know if Quintheo has removed this Amplifox user, but Pirate's claims do to some degree actually hold some water. Although, for the most part, the doxing that he claims is rampant in Quintheo's Discord has been scrubbed, and people have, from my understanding of the situation anyway, they have been removed, like the Jayop guy earlier. But it does get weirder because publicly Pirate at one point on stream shows photos of his mailbox in front of his house. And the mailbox is clearly severely damaged by the company Comcast. Apparently, one of their employees backed into his mailbox and they destroyed it. Anyways, why this is relevant is because someone on Quintheo's Discord would see that and then would look into it and then say this. Nah, all you need is a weather map of the precipitation that day and the time he posted it online. The image is obviously blocked because it actually apparently shows Pirate's alleged location, like his house and everything. So this JGlow user apparently, according to Quintheo in his Discord, used Google Maps and such to search for this damaged mailbox that Pirate posted publicly. And this J-Glow user, as they say here, that Pirate would also put in his whole, defense against Quinthio, here's what it would say. J-Glow says, yeah, definitely the same place, and space above Ferret can most likely. Apparently, J-Glow was able to find out where Pirate lived by searching for this mailbox and then using the info from the image that was provided by Pirate. Again, publicly, but still. Don't ask me how he did it. I don't know. I'm not Rainbolt. I can't find this sort of stuff myself. But the point is that this was used by Pirate as a gotcha against Quinthio, that his community was doxing him to bring harm upon him and others that know him. Again, all of this is happening while Pirate is losing subscribers and views. It's a giant mess already, I know. This same user would then talk to Quinthio privately, which Quinthio would share, which reads, and this is after Pirate basically accused and had all the things revealed about him. Quinn, I just wanted to start off by apologizing for all the hardship I have caused. I should have deleted more than I already had before when it comes to things. And even though Pirate Software himself posted that, it wasn't okay for me to post said edited thing as well. I wanted to continue off from your announcement, and this by no means is me justifying my actions. I sent the below to Mother based on the DMs they sent me this morning, and I wanted to send it to you all as well. Mother's another mod, by the way, but anyway, as you can see, he keeps going on, but long story short, this user basically screwed up and clearly got way too mixed up in the noise of it all and made some really bad mistakes, which is, putting it lightly. And this same J-Glow guy got shown here as Quinthio shared that he even found the address of Kronos, which, by the way, if you don't know, that's Pirate's main moderator. Again, this J-Glow guy went way too deep into this and caused a lot of problems for literally everyone involved. Because case in point, okay, my viewers included, please never dox anybody, okay? Just don't do it. I don't care if you think someone deserves being doxed or whatever else. Either way, never stoop to this level and try to scare or intimidate someone by saying that you have their personal information. Just don't do it. Can we all just agree that the moment you have to pull anything like this on someone else, your credibility is immediately shot 100% for the rest of time? And I don't mean Quinthio, by the way. I mean the people in his Discord that did this of their own free will. The only reason you would resort to doxing is because you want harm brought upon someone else, which is obviously not good to do. So don't ever do this or stoop to this level, otherwise you will get cooked, and honestly, rightfully so. But as you can see, this is a mess, but so far anyways, Quinthio has not been banned or anything from YouTube, and Pirate, from what I understand, has gone radio silent on the matter, at least for now. But the claims of doxing are kind of not 100%, but regardless, there was clearly users who were clearly trying to poison the well, so to speak, for Quinthio, which is not a good thing for obvious reasons. But it doesn't stop here, though, with all the exposing. So, since Quinthio also spoke to someone who used to be a roommate of Pirate Software's, and this too is likely going to make Pirate very angry, because this story paints Pirate in a very negative light, and that's putting it lightly. So, this final story for the video involves someone named Cynthia Hall. That's this girl on screen here. This is not doxing. She worked there. She publicly gave this image to Quinthio, so just so everybody knows. Anyway, she used to work at Blizzard during the development of Diablo 3. She would say in this interview that Cynthia was pushed to work with Pirate because Blizzard management realized they had the same last name and therefore just thought that they were related. Yeah, I know, that's kind of stupid, but that's what Blizzard's executives literally thought. According to Cynthia, the reason beyond this was that Blizzard's managers believed since Cynthia was related to Pirate, which she wasn't, she could be uniquely qualified to rein in and keep Pirate accountable by being able to speak to Pirate's dad, who's Joey Ray Hall, by the way, who was a top executive at Blizzard during this time. According to Cynthia, Pirate was borderline useless at Blizzard the entire time that he worked there. He would routinely not get work done and would instead do whatever it is that he wanted to do most of the time while on the clock. Cynthia and Pirate worked on a team together to do quality assurance testing on things like the monsters in Diablo 3, the boss fights, as well as testing things like monster spawn locations to ensure that the gameplay loop would be optimal for Diablo 3 players. But according to Cynthia, Pirate would never actually do his job, and instead he would make a character in Diablo 3 to, do his work, but then he would instead leave it alone, let it sit idle, and then he wouldn't touch it for hours, and Pirate would instead just browse Reddit while on company time and get literally nothing done. According to Cynthia, she sat behind Pirate at her desk, so Pirate's screen was in full view of her at all times while she was working, and he never got the work that he was assigned done. When pressured about this, Pirate would claim that the work asked of him at Blizzard was too demanding of his time. Therefore, he just wouldn't do it, I guess, and while most other developers had about 2 monitors at their desks, which was mandatory at the time at Blizzard, Pirate would request a third monitor for his work desk, which wasn't really the normal thing to do. You think it would be for work, but no, this third monitor would be exclusively used for things like Reddit or Twitch, and when confronted, Cynthia said Pirate needed the third monitor for things he liked to help him work, but mostly he would just ignore the other two screens used for work and just focus on Reddit or Twitch, and that's it. So, after days and months of Pirate not working well at all with anybody, missing deadlines and more, Cynthia would bring this problem up with her supervisor, who sat behind her. So that supervisor could not only see Cynthia's screen, but Nick would look over and see, Pirate's screen as well. But anyway, the supervisor would then tell Cynthia there that there was nothing that they could do to help her. This supervisor said they could do nothing to Pirate due to who he is, which is what they said apparently, meaning since he was a son of an executive at the same company they worked at, Pirate was essentially untouchable. He was literally the useless nepotism baby son in like every movie pretty much. And due to this nepotism, it would literally protect Pirate from everything. And the reason why nobody would target or go to HR about Pirate either is because it was well known at Blizzard that you should never mess with an executive's son. So he was protected. And instead, Cynthia specifically here was tasked with pretty much babysitting this guy every single day that she worked with him. And because of this, nobody could touch Pirate software at Blizzard, and no one brought up any complaints in the future to HR or his work ethic, because nobody wanted to be the one person to fire or, launch criticism at Joey Ray Hall's son pretty much. Cynthia then explains that because the game industry is small in terms of like who knows who and who has power and such to make things happen, that if you were the one to insinuate firing Joey Ray Hall's son, you would be effectively blacklisted from the Western gaming industry. And so because of this, Pirate was just allowed to exist, do whatever he wanted, scrolled Reddit, and played games while being paid a developer's salary, if you can believe it, while getting no work done. And when Pirate was also there, he created his own team, by the way, to test for bugs, but Cynthia claimed that that was also all BS. According to her, Pirate created a hacking team, but in actuality, it was a focus automation team instead. Pretty much, Pirate's team of devs, he led a team again because of nepotism despite not earning it, would then use bots and AI to test for bugs and exploits and then report the findings within Diablo 3 to his higher-ups. So Pirate didn't actually test anything himself, his work was being done by bots and other devs according to Cynthia. One example brought up by her as well was that an Extra Life charity event was happening to raise money for sick kids. Cynthia was on Pirate's team and he would scream at his teammates routinely for not playing the way that he wanted them to, and it made everyone really uncomfortable to be around him. They were playing League of Legends, by the way, and Pirate, of course, was the team leader because nepotism. And Cynthia would say that nobody wanted to or played with Pirate after this event due to how toxic he was to be around. She then also shows a card where Blizzard thanked her for playing nice with Pirate and more, which is ridiculous. It's more like something parents would send to the babysitter for taking care of their kid for months while they worked, which is really weird, but honestly kind of on brand, all things considered. But this then brings us to the story of Pirate Software as a roommate, which is also pretty gross, but eventually, this same Cynthia person would have her then roommate move out due to a family emergency. Around this same time, Cynthia needed a new roommate and Pirate needed a place to live after leaving his dad's place. So she asked him to be a roommate and rent half of the apartment from her. Apparently the apartment's like cut in the middle pretty much, so no one would get on each other's toes. So anyway, Pirate accepted, he became a renter to Cynthia, and even brought his cat too, which Pirate assured Cynthia that his cat was well behaved and wouldn't damage anything. It then took, according to her, mere days living there before Pirate began screaming late at night while playing EVE Online, which Cynthia said would keep her up at night, and cause her to wake up exhausted for work, and Pirate didn't care how late he stayed up since nobody could fire him anyways, and he didn't do any work at Blizzard, but no one could really, say much, so he just did whatever he wanted to do, both at Blizzard and not. And apparently this cat that Pirate has, I guess, was said to not be destructive, also ended up being a total menace that was destroying, Cynthia's furniture, and to the surprise of literally nobody else. And then Pirate also gaslighted his then roommate when he was confronted about his cat destroying stuff, that it never destroyed anything despite literal cat claw marks being visible all over said furniture, according to Cynthia. He also refused to pay for the damages because he said his cat still did nothing wrong. Cynthia then said the situation got even worse, as garbage would routinely pile up, smells would emit from Pirate's side of the apartment, and when she would come home, all the dishes, the pans were all disgusting, food was everywhere, countertops a disaster. He basically turned her apartment into a living nightmare. So Cynthia, who worked with this guy and had now experienced living just 1 week with Pirate Software at this point, came to the conclusion very quickly that this guy was just disgusting, he was irredeemable, his cat destroyed things all the time, and he was too loud to get any sleep around. He was also, according to her once, left his bathroom door open. And Cynthia said that she actually still distantly remembers observing his bathroom and said that she was mortified when she walked in. She said the bathroom had no shower curtains, which meant that Pirate either never showered or only used the bathtub at best, and that there were unexplainable, as she says, ashy gray spots all over the walls, countertops, and more within the bathroom. She said the toilet was even more horrific. She couldn't believe a week in how bad it was living with Pirate and what he had done to the place. She then obviously tried to remove him very quickly after him turning everything into a pigsty within literally a week of living there. Thankfully, though, Pirate understood quickly that he wasn't welcome, and he did move out within a month, never really paid for anything pretty much or the damages he caused. He also cleaned nothing upon leaving either, and once he was gone, Cynthia explored his bedroom and found his bedroom walls had white or greenish gross things on the walls. She couldn't explain what these blotches were on the walls, but she theorized it was probably from Pirate's own mucus. Like he was picking his nose and then flinging the mucus towards the walls, and then it would stick, and then he would never clean it so that they would harden. Yeah, gross, but there you go, that's what she said. To further strengthen her claims that she's not a liar, Cynthia would also leak DMs showing that she knew Pirate Software well. Again, this was over 10 years ago at this point. Here they are talking, things are blocked due to privacy, obviously, and as seen here, Cynthia also leaked the whole situation before Pirate moved in. How he was going to get his key and needed a deposit for the department and much, much more. I mean, none of this is photoshopped. So whilst nobody but Cynthia could really confirm that Pirate was an absolute nightmare to live with, one thing is very clear, which is that she lived with this guy when he worked at Blizzard, and he was a nightmare in both scenarios to deal with, and the added insult to injury, then most people at Blizzard don't want to talk about Pirate even to this day is very telling. And according to Cynthia, the people who would want to speak out are a majority at Blizzard, but they're not speaking out specifically because they're scared to, because they believe they will get blacklisted if they do so. Although at least the one good thing about all of this was, according to Cynthia, Pirate's dad, Joey Ray Hall, refused to save his son at Blizzard and would tell people to not come to him over problems with his son, but talk to Pirate instead, because Pirate's dad was just acting and ignoring it and would act like basically his son didn't even exist at Blizzard at all. But in the end, the other major reason why people don't want to talk about Pirate at Blizzard is because they're afraid of Pirate's followers on the internet harassing or doxing them if they speak out, which I mean is fair enough, that makes sense. It sucks, but look, I get it. Finally, Quintheo also said in the same video about him being accused of getting doxed that he was getting sent fake cease and desist emails from people who were claiming to be close to Pirate Software or Pirate Software himself to scare him into stopping his exposing a pirate on YouTube and then some. But obviously this wasn't real, he has gone on regardless, but as you can see, these late reports do not help Pirate's already dwindling influence in any real way. He's lost a lot due to his comments, how Meat Canyons covered the guy in his latest video too, like I said, and he's now being exposed as trying to claim that Quintheo is doxing him when he isn't, and now former roommates and co-workers are finally speaking out on how messed up it was to work with Pirates years ago. So when he says he worked at Blizzard, chances are all he really did was scroll Reddit, watch Twitch, and make bots do his reporting for him. And nobody, not even the supervisors, could do anything to remove him. The downfall of this guy is kind of incredible. It's like if Icarus flew too close to the sun, but if Icarus was a smelly Redditor who flung mucus at bedroom walls, allegedly by the way, and either showered without a curtain or didn't bathe at all really. I honestly don't know which is worse, to be honest. This all just sounds like a mess. May God protect the poor housemates who likely go to Pirates' residence these days once a month to clean it. Because those people have probably seen human horrors beyond our wildest imaginations. What do you think about this giant update? Next video will be other stuff, I promise, so don't expect too much pirate content from me going forward unless something really crazy happens. As always, I thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe to keep up to date on a whole ton of stuff in games and more, and I'll see you next time. And also, please put shower curtains in your showers, guys, for God's sakes, and don't fling mucus at walls. Like, come on, man. Anyway, see you next time.